For more, we can speak to our international news editor, Angela Diffley. Hello to you, Angela. This is certainly a very difficult story. Can you give us some background on it and on the population in New Caledonia?
Yeah, so this is an island in the South Pacific, thousands of miles from Paris. It was conquered by the French in 1853, and there has been for some time tension between the original indigenous population, who are called the Kanak, and they're today about 40% of the population, and those of European descent. And they themselves are in three groups. Those who went to colonize, some were sent there when the island was a French penal colony, and then you have new arrivals who have come in recent years from mainland France to New Caledonia. And there has been tension between them for some time. It's about 270,000 people living there now. There was tension after a particularly bloody period. The 1998 Noumea Accord was signed, and under that accord, 3 referendums were promised, and they were held between 2018 and 2021 over whether or not the archipelago should become independent. And on all 3 occasions, independence was rejected. It should be said that the last vote, pro-independence parties told their voters to boycott it because it was held amid COVID restrictions. It is of strategic importance to France because of its position and also because it has nickel. That said, the economy is subsidised quite a lot by France. It is conceivable that some, even among the Kanak population, rejected independence, having seen the fate of other islands around the world which have chosen to chuck France out. But that's the situation today.
So some of these tensions go back a long time. What triggered this week's unrest?
After these independence votes, one thing should be made clear. In that 1998 Noumea Accord, which allowed the referenda, there was a clause which said that only people living in the country in 1998 or before were eligible to vote. And that was built in because the Kanaks worried that their influence on their island would gradually be eroded. And so for local votes to the local regional parliament and for referenda, only people there from before 1998 are eligible to vote. Now, after the independence was rejected 3 times, the French government in Paris began to say that it was only a matter of time before the legitimacy of any vote in New Caledonia was questioned because so many people arriving after 1998 were not eligible to vote. So they changed the rules. That passed this week in France, saying that anyone who arrived has been living in New Caledonia for 10 years or more is now eligible to vote in local elections or referenda. That has really angered the Kanak population, who are worried that they will lose representation in Parliament. The people living there are very angry. They say that Paris failed to anticipate the uproar this might create. And amongst the non-Kanak population, a lot of people are very fearful, and they say the government should have sent in reinforcements before. It is a very, very tense situation, and we are being told it's being fomented by various countries. That is a fact of modern life, where there is an opportunity to disrupt a country. Enemies of that country are now using internet, etc., to do so. And flags from Azerbaijan, which has grievances with France, have been seen at the pro-independence side of the violence.
So what happens now?
So what happens now? Number one, law and order must be restored. There are 2 terrified populations now, very heavily armed. Police reinforcements have been sent. TikTok has been banned under emergency law. Those 2 elements are extremely important. Food and medical aid must be got to the island. Not aid, but just their normal supplies. It's a very isolated place, and their normal provisions have been disrupted, so that must be restored. The government says there will be no talks until law and order is restored. Then they need to talk, but the pro-independence parties have somewhat lost control of the young people out and about, creating lawlessness. So that is a major problem. Macron says he has, in effect, suspended the legislation and said, come up with some propositions and we'll think about it. So we'll see what happens from here on.
All right, Angela. Thank you very much, Angela Diffley, speaking to us on the unrest in New Caledonia.